I used to get paid to hunt Bigfoot for a living.
Dude,
Yeah.
all right, hold on. What do you think about FD without Irwindale, though?
I feel like it's not going to be the same in a way. I got to experience Louder Than Life for free, full VIP access.
For real?
All because I gave one of the coordinators a ride. But I drove the motor mounts off that car. By the end of the weekend, you would visibly see the motor.
If you weren't dealing with all of those issues and the car was like, okay, do you think you would have
would've
just got stuck with the Mustangs?
Yeah, 100%. I had this engine ratchet strapped to both wheels in the front to hold it up enough.
Oh.
I'm underneath the car, and out of nowhere, the engine just falls off.
So why did it catch on fire?
See how you doing the pressure. Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy.
Welcome back to the #1 Drift podcast on YouTube, presented by Injuku Racing. My name is Dawson, and today we have...
Frank? Or Francisco? One of the two.
Hell yeah. Which one do you normally go by, actually?
Frank. A lot of people call me
Frank, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Probably that's what everybody knows.
Need to know for the thumbnail. No, I'm just but no, of course. Before we get into the podcast, I'll get this over quick. Look below the video. Make sure the subscribe button is not still red. If it is, go ahead and hit that and hit the bell notification while you're at it so you never miss an episode. And on top of that, I want to let you know that hats are available on 144 Racing now. They're the Grassroots Hero hats, kind of like a surf cap style, almost like dry fit in a sense, actually. Really comfortable, but and they're actually big head friendly. I've never had to like tighten a hat so much. So if you got a big head, it'll definitely work for you. But I did only make a limited quantity of these, so like very limited, like 50 of them. So if you want one, I think I've already gotten rid of like half of them. So grab one while you can. And then also the Grassroots Hero steering wheels that you've seen behind me so many times in the episodes, they are finally available on 144 Racing. I held off on them for a while. Wasn't too sure, but a lot of you guys have asked me both in the comments and in person. So I decided to bring them to life. So they're on 144 Racing. You can go grab them now. Not only are they in the red and black, but you can get them in multiple different colors just to match your car. On top of that, they are both options of suede and leather as well. So if you want one of those, feel like you're a Grassroots hero, go grab one of those. I appreciate it as well. Help keep the lights on. Help me keep bringing you guys some of the best podcasts that I possibly can. And on top of that, Chase Bay's customer appreciation event at Polecat. That place is actually 30 minutes from this location, which is crazy. I will not identify the actual location. Sorry. But November 30th and December 1st, be there. If you haven't grabbed your tickets already, go ahead and grab those. I'll leave them linked in the description. And may or may not have the Z back for that event. Don't know. You'll just have to wait, find out. But odds are looking good. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks to the sponsors. Shout out Kansei. Shout out Injuku. Shout out fucking everyone. Seriously, FDF, you guys rock. And then last thing, I know this is getting long-winded, but last thing, Volino is throwing a great sale right now. I think it's 30% off or something. But a lot of you small tire guys, they have a lot of those sizes left. It's a lot of oddball sizes, but grab those. They're super cheap. If you haven't tried Volinos, now is the time to actually try them. They are great tires. But yeah, that's all I got. Sorry that was so long-winded. Really appreciate you guys. Let's get into this shit. If you want to introduce yourself maybe a little bit more to anyone out there that doesn't know you. Before we get into the rest of that conversation, I wanted to drop in and let you guys know that the new Grassroots Hero hats are on the 144 Racing's website. Nice surf cap with the rope on the front. They're like a almost dry fit material. So they're really comfortable, especially wearing them all day at the track and stuff. So if you're interested, grab one of those off the website. Grab a shirt as well if you haven't already. And let me know, would you want to see these hats in black or even possibly blue? I'm really digging the blue one. I don't know about you. But I'm not going to hold up any more of your time. If you want to grab some, they are on 144 Racing. Go check them out in the description. Other than that, let's get back to the podcast. Tell me who you are, what you drive, what you do.
My name is Frank. I own a 97 E36.
Fuck yeah.
328.
No, yeah.
Fun little car. Picked it up earlier this year. It had most of had decent parts.
Yeah.
In it. Just needed to be tweaked around and
That's good.
kind of dialed in.
Yeah.
But yeah, been drifting. I would say technically this is like my second full season.
Yeah, so you're still fairly fresh.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you do for a living, by the way?
I work in an auto performance shop.
Okay,
called
cool.
Frank's Automotive.
Hell yeah.
Up in Clarksville, Indiana.
What do y'all do?
We do anything from your normal mom and pops to your full-fledged 1,800 horsepower drag car.
Damn. Okay, hold on. Hold up.
We work.
What's the craziest car you've worked on there?
I've had the opportunity to tinker around with. We had this car called El Bundy, you know, and it was an old LT. Okay. But the thing was a madman. Giant big turbo. Just I think it was probably around like 16 something horsepower. Okay. But it put it down. And the first time that I seen this car actually make a pass down the track, it blew my mind. That was also like kind of the first time I really got introduced to drag racing.
I don't know the lingo, but how many seconds was it running, would you say?
Probably around 5 1/8 or
what?
Or 4.
Is that fast?
90s.
Is that like super? I don't know drag racing enough. I'm sorry.
I'd say, low 5s or 490s. That's pretty quick. I mean, you're doing, 150. And
what's the world record right now then? Do you know?
I'm not sure. There's a guy.
If anyone knows, put that in the comments. By the way,
I forget what his name is. The video just recently got released, but he's driving a Fox body. He's on like 26s, 26 like by like 8.5. So like not a big tire, not a big tire. So he put down like 4. I think it was like 460 or 402, like something ridiculous at 198 miles an hour in the 8th.
Jesus Christ.
It didn't make sense. I mean, in the video, his front wheels are just barely touching the ground. I mean,
it's like, we're holding on for dear life, baby.
I mean, I can't comprehend it. I can't. But
Jesus.
They're different animals.
Yeah, I've never even touched a car that powerful. I guess you would
I'd
say.
I owned a 500 horsepower Fox body. That's as far as that went. That's really as far as that went.
Fair enough. Hell yeah. Okay. Well, I wanted to ask. Did you see recently the Irwindale's closing?
I heard about that.
Yeah, dude. What do you think about that? Obviously, a lot of the tracks in California are closing because of the EPA bullshit and all the. Sorry, liberal California bullshit. Don't care.
I used to live in California. I moved out to Indiana.
I am so sorry for you.
Actually,
California's great. I'm not. I'm just.
It is. It's great.
Giving y'all shit.
It's a nice place, gorgeous place.
Yeah.
I'm just not a big fan of living there anymore.
Yeah. You ain't got to go into the political reasons for that. I know there's some of those.
I had the opportunity of being able to travel to the U.S. as soon as I turned 21. And,
really?
Yeah.
How? Just real quick.
Oh, no. I used to get paid to hunt Bigfoot for a living.
Dude.
Yeah.
I don't even, all right, hold on. Hold the fuck up, bro. I don't even care if this makes it in the podcast. What? Why? How? Wait, what? Who?
Tom Biscardi is the main guy that started the company.
Okay.
I get from my understanding was already within that community for close to 50 years or around there is what he said. Yeah. And I was actually working at a bingo hall in the kitchen, just making sure everybody was fed. That's what I was doing,
Dude, I used to watch the Finding Bigfoot show, bro. I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, so I was working there one night, and Tom approached me, asked me if I knew what he did for a living, which I was like, well, you're a businessman,
dude.
Like, how do I guess that, You're a businessman. He was like, well, obviously, but, he's like, he said he was considered the godfather of Bigfoot, and you know, I initially kind of laughed at it because I thought it was a joke, then realized like it was, you know, he was actually serious about it. And yeah, you know, he said he was looking for somebody to come out on an expedition for a month, and you know, it'd be all expenses paid, plus he'll pay me on top of it.
How much did you get paid on top of that?
It was like, it started out, I think, at like $400 a week, but then I started getting close to like 7 or 8. But I wasn't using any of the money, so it was kind of nice.
Yeah, you're just sitting on it, dude.
Yeah, so
that's so cool.
Yeah, I was extremely irresponsible with that money.
As one, how old were you?
21.
Oh, duh.
You know what I mean? And then I got the opportunity to go to New York, which blew all my money there too. You know, like we got to travel.
On this excursion of a trip, is this how like drifting came involved in your life?
No,
somehow?
No, not at all. See, throughout this, I would you know, I'd watch Adam LZ, you know, and and Taylor Ray, and you know, a few of those guys, and that was really like as far as I kind of went. You know, like I would get sideways with some of my cars, but realistically,
so
I was
you're just out here chasing Bigfoot.
I was,
and like watching YouTube videos.
Pretty much, like I was.
That's
I was just
cool.
enjoying. Like, I was just enjoying it. You know, like all I heard when he, you know, offered me that was, I get to travel for free.
He never asked you to go again?
No, he did. That's the thing. Like it was only supposed to go for 1 month, and next thing you know, I was 2 years into this thing.
No shit.
Yeah, I did it for 2 years. I got to live in Montana, East Glacier, Montana, for 4 months. And yeah, I basically got to travel most of the U.S. following up on leads and investigations about Bigfoot, searching for Bigfoot. Thank you for the opportunity.
Did y'all ever find Bigfoot or anything like promising?
My first, no, I think it was like.
I'm sorry, this is so off topic so quick, bro. But this is what the fuck, dude.
We were in Gainesville, Texas, on the edge of the Red River, and. Yeah, I've experienced something that day that I can't explain. I can't tell you what it is because I never saw anything. But I can tell you that I was scared shitless out of my mind, and you know, there were like rocks being thrown, you know, from this like cliff that I can't explain it. Like I could not explain it. I was just baffled, you know.
Wow.
I got paranoid, so I grabbed a 12 gauge, an AR-15, a fucking 45. I'm sitting in front of the fire, paranoid as hell. I don't know what the hell is going on, man. All I know is I'm in the middle of Texas in the woods. I don't know none of this stuff.
What the fuck, man?
It's like I'm just a kid from California at this point, you know, don't really know much anymore.
That's so funny, dude.
So, yeah.
I never expected, like, I did not. I went through your Instagram and, like, all sorts of shit. Didn't expect that to come out.
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
It was a cool experience. You know, I'm very grateful for that because I did get to meet some really cool people and, you know, have
Wait, so hold on. We were talking about Irwindale. So how, like, where did California, is that where it started? Is that where?
Well, I moved to California from Portugal when I was younger.
Okay.
And, yeah, like it, you know, the culture there where I lived, I was in the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. You know, they do a lot of sideshows and all that, which back then, you know, it wasn't anything.
You're lame.
Anything like it was, you know, today.
Yeah.
With the takeovers and all that. Like back then, it was half-ass organized for the most part. But, you know, at the same time, it was to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You know, to a certain extent. But yeah, you know, that was as far as like I've ever.
Did you ever get to go to Irwindale Speedway?
No, I never got to experience it.
Bro, what about Willow?
Haven't yet.
What the fuck?
Haven't yet. That's on the bucket list.
Damn. Okay, well you better do that shit quick or you ain't never gonna be able to. Me too, by the way. Never been either. I'm fucked on Irwindale now though. Well, okay, so then what do you think about FD without Irwindale though?
I feel like it's not going to be the same in a way.
There's no way. It's their biggest event of the year. Like, it's massive. I couldn't even tell you how many people were at Irwindale this year. But, I mean, they were parking people across the fucking interstate and shit, weren't they? Right?
I mean, it's a really big event, so kind of sad in a way to see that go.
Dude. I don't know. I want to see, because apparently it's not that, like, it looks big, but apparently it's not as big as, like, you'd expect it to be. Compared to, like, a Atlanta Motor Speedway or a fucking,
That's fair.
A big-ass track. But what do you think FD will replace it with?
I'd like to say something half-assed locally.
What do you mean?
Well, I feel like St. Louis has got a decent track, when they come up there.
You're running at St. Louis, though.
I'm not sure. I can't really think of, like...
I don't, from my standpoint, it's like the crowd-wise, like, you can't,
I would almost
can't match
suggest,
California that
like
way.
US Air, but then again, like, it's kind of a small track. And
Wouldn't that be fucking wild, dude? An FD event at US Air, it's obviously not feasible. Yeah, it's not possible whatsoever, but that would be hilarious to watch some pro cars go around that track, dude.
I feel like that would be insane.
Holy shit. They should do an expedition round doing that, where, like, no spectation, just an all media event. That'd be crazy.
That'd be pretty wild to watch.
That'd be hard to, like, coordinate, though, with all the drivers, I feel like.
For sure. For sure.
I don't know. Anyways, okay. So, how does a Bigfoot chaser get into drifting? Let's start there.
Well, the boss at the time lived in Jeffersonville, Indiana, and he knew I wanted to get out of California, and so he offered me a place to live there. He was like, "Give me $50 a week, take care of the house, mow the yard, and just."
Where do I sign, bro? What?
Literally, I was like, yeah, like, sure. Took the next flight back to California that Friday, loaded up my stuff. I had an A4 wagon at the time. Loaded up that little wagon and drove it across the country. Got back, it was Sunday at 4 p.m. And had about, I think, $150 left to my name after making the trip and, flight and all that.
Fuck.
So.
Stressing.
Yeah, straight up. So I was like, all right, man, here's $50 for the first week. Very next day, I started doing Uber.
Nice.
And that's.
Does that actually pay well, by the way? Like, what is the. I've never asked anyone. I feel like
back then it did.
Back then, okay.
I feel like back then it did.
Too much complication now. Everyone's too broke now. Yeah, doesn't want to.
I've heard a lot of bad stories from them. Luckily, when I did, I feel like I had a good experience. I got to meet a lot of cool people. I got to experience Louder Than Life for free, full VIP access.
For real?
All because I gave one of the coordinators a ride, and they're like, "Come to this place, get you a VIP pass." And
damn, that's cool.
Yeah, and like it opened up some doors for sure. Some cool opportunities. Well, that same week, I was calling it for bed early on a Saturday. It was like 11 o'clock. And neighbor next door knew about my little Audi and invited me out. And we ended up going to car meets, seeing a few cars, then learned that there was going to be a drift event there at Sports Drone in Clarksville. And so that was the first one that I went to and, just kind of watched initially.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of watched initially. Didn't know if it was like something feasible for me. And to be fair, I didn't know what I was doing with my life either. So it was one of those things. But a few years later, my buddy Michael Phelps, madman, drives.
Who?
His name is Michael Phelps.
Who? Hold on. What?
Not the swimmer. Not the swimmer. But he's got a Volvo wagon that's turbo.
That's cool.
He's an absolute madman behind that.
He drifts it?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. So he invited me out to a Riverside Mutsu. I think it was like a summer one or something like that.
That's so cool.
And it was a 3-day event that they were hosting, and I got a bunch of ride-alongs with them.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I do this now? How do I do
Show
this
me the
now?
way.
So I had a ZX9R little crotch rocket. Started searching the internet for cars to trade. It was like, this is my prized possession. This is what I'm going, trade up for. Found an E46 like 2.5 hours away. Rode that bike in the pouring rain. 2.5 hours to get this car. Looked at it. Was like, okay, this is what I need. This is what I'm gonna take. It was a 330 CI. I thought it was a cool car.
As one does.
I thought it was a cool car.
Good daily.
got it 2 weeks before my first event with Riverside, which at that time that event was right next door on like the big oval track they have there in Salem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So went there, just had a welded diff, nothing else. Thought I was gonna look dumb, and it was like 3 laps in. I started linking the track. I'm like, okay, what am I doing?
Maybe I can do this.
And the next thing you know, Ryan is like, all right, you got cars following you. Don't spin out,
Like, fuck, this is my first day. Hold on.
Yeah, guess what I did the first time? He's like, you got some cars following
you. He gave you some lean. Yeah, you spun.
Oh, I spun.
Yeah.
And right behind me was a Corvette, which the Corvette didn't hit me.
That's good.
But there was a 350Z behind it. And that passenger door on that.
Them damn Z's, man.
That
we're relentless.
Yeah, that passenger door on that 350Z got smashed, and I felt terrible. But I drove the motor mounts off that car. By the end of the weekend, you would visibly see the motor hopping out of the car. Like, it was bad. So, it started.
So, you got some good seat time, man. There you go.
Oh, it was.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I literally did not leave the track. The entire time. The car wasn't overheating. I mean, I had no power, so tires were lasting all day long.
That's good, yeah.
So it was just sit down, drive until they kick me out of the track. Or the next group goes up, So.
Hell yeah. Before, I noticed, sorry to jump off drifting a little bit, but I noticed that you used to skate, right? Or do you still skate at all?
I don't skate as much anymore.
Okay.
I think mainly because I work so much. If I get hurt, it's going to cost me a lot of money.
Fair, yeah.
But I do still enjoy skating, though.
So, like, did you, I guess, were you still skating at the time when you got into drifting?
For sure. No,
okay,
for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, I was. I had a couple buddies. I was. I think I was still working night shift right before I started doing that. And so like I had buddies that we'd get together, like midnight, skate until 3 a.m, and then end up at Steak and Shake, before we then call it a night. And that was the thing, especially on Saturdays. Saturdays we car meet, go watch some races. All right, around like 2 a.m, races are done. Let's go to the skate park.
Damn.
Yeah.
About it. Okay.
It was great. It was great. But we grow up, jobs change.
Yeah. Hobbies get more expensive.
Yeah. Drifting came about.
Life sucks you away.
Yeah.
So I came from, I guess I did skate a little bit, but I sucked at it so bad. So I went to BMX. Still bad at that. But why do you think there is such a known, like, it's not a stigma. What am I trying to say? Why is it a known thing?
Like either skaters or bikers.
It's always some type of extreme sport or whatever you want to call it that leads us into drifting. Like,
like we just want to feel like kids again, like we used to.
Well, definitely. Yeah. I mean, our toys never grow up. It's just like the meme. Our toys never grow up.
That's how I feel, from how I skated back in the day. Don't get me wrong. Not like I was all good. Would do well. I could handle myself and not look, all crazy. But I
think it's chasing the trick.
Yeah.
Landing the trick or whatever it is.
Pretty
like
much,
you want to push yourself until you land it.
Like when I get on track, it's like I'm chasing that line and I'm trying to perfect that line.
Damn. I want to ride BMX again now. I've honestly, dude, I swear to God, I've been thinking about buying another bike. I'm like, again, I'm not good at it. It would eventually just be wind up a pit vehicle, and that's it.
I
but
rode
like
some for a little bit, and I end up kind of giving up on that because when I would ride it, it was never like my own bike.
True.
But I could do a couple grinds and could still kind of handle myself on a bike. But stayed away from it for a couple years, and then I was at Louisville skate park one night. My buddy was trying to get rid of his bike, so I gave him $200 for a nice little BMX bike. Thought I was still all hot shit like I was back in the day, trying to do some jumps. Overcooked the hell out of one, landed straight on my knees from like 10 feet in the air.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I think it's time to give that up.
Dude, yeah, no. The one thing going to BMX that I always hated was getting, dude.
The slams, they're a lot worse.
The shinners, man.
Yeah.
From the pegs, dude.
Like, I'm used to kicking the board out of my way if I need a bail.
Yeah, no, as soon as I bought every bike that I bought is immediately Thermalite pedals. I'm putting fucking plastic pedals on that bitch. I'm not getting ringed by the steel or aluminum. No, dude.
They hurt. I mean, my shins are still scarred from that.
Absolutely, man. Oh, God. Well, okay, so drifting, though. The E46. So, like you said at the first event, it was essentially...
It was just a welded diff.
Welded diff?
Yeah, I had it welded a week prior to the event. Prior to this, I didn't know how to work on a car.
So did it, like... Was it I guess... Did it affect your driving being so simple? The first event? Like, trying to learn at all?
In a way, honestly, that first event, I was just kind of... I always say the same thing. I'm just happy to be there.
Of course.
But I've had some experience getting the car sideways, but as far as like actually like doing a corner properly or like, you know.
Yeah. Because you had a Mustang or some shit before.
Yeah, yeah. Right? I've owned a few Mustangs in my time, and you know I always loved getting them sideways. But the way I was really getting sideways in those was just like we're at a stop sign, pop first or second, just to get
from a dead stop. Yeah,
yeah, you know, and you do your little power slide through the corner. That was as far as that ever went, you know. So
why did you choose to go Mustang then, since you were already in one?
Money.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I traded my Fox body because the Fox body, when I initially bought it, was like, okay, I want to go drift this. But it was set up as a drag car, and my first time taking out that car and actually like getting on it blew the pilot bearing apart. So it didn't have a rev limiter.
Oh shit! Yeah,
you didn't know.
Rev that bitch to the moon, baby.
Exactly, and then she just fall on her face. Exactly, and that's basically what it is. Literally what I did was second gear, pinned it to the ground, the next thing you know, it just straight on his face, and this horrendous noise starts happening.
Not enough mechanical sympathy for that.
No. Well, I didn't really know what I was doing either. To be fair, so because it took me like 6 months to pull that transmission, put it back in, you know, and then
heard that.
My buddy Michael Phelps actually surprised me one day because he got together.
The gold medal.
Well. He came by the house, he picked up the car, took it somewhere, and actually got the transmission put in for me.
Nice,
you know, because he knew I was super down about the car because it's been in the shop for so long, and I, you know, only drove it once before it like broke down.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he did me that favor, which I was, you know, forever thankful about that. He drove the car to my house. I heard it pull up. I come outside. I'm excited as hell. He hands me the keys. I hop in, put the car in reverse. It dies on
Oh,
spot.
fuck. No.
There was no trans fluid in the car, so, you know, the trans got hurt a little bit, and a few other things happened. So I fixed it up enough to just sell it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I picked up that motorcycle, you know.
Do you think you ever, like, if you weren't dealing with all of those issues and the car was, like, okay, it was fine, do you think you would have just got stuck with the Mustangs?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the way I bought the car, it was a total accident because I was supposed to go look at an SM95.
Yeah.
And I got the listings mixed up when I was messaging the guy. Because this guy wanted like
before.
he wanted $2,000 more for the car. Yeah. So, but at the same time, you know, it had a Pro Charge on it. It had a nitrous. Like it was set up, you know. But I was going for the SM95. So when I show up and, you know, I see this blue Fox body, I'm going, oh, I messed up. It's like, I don't have nearly enough money for this car. Like,
I am not prepared.
Like, I just drove 2.5 hours to look at this car, and I have no money to, like, really pay for it, you know? So I took it for a test drive. I actually liked the car on a test drive, and I persuade the hell out of this guy. I was like, listen, I want to make it a drift car. You know, as soon as I can get it turned into a drift car, you're more than welcome to come out, get as many ride-alongs as you want. I was just blowing smokes. I didn't even know, you know. You know, like I really didn't know.
You're just trying to make shit happen.
Yeah, and he ended up selling me the car for like, I think it was like $2,000, $2,500 cheaper than what he initially wanted for it.
Damn.
So I was ecstatic driving that.
Don't tell me you can't make it happen.
Oh, you can. If
there's deals out there, baby.
You just have to.
This was what, 2 years ago?
No,
3 years ago,
this
something
was
like that.
4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah, it was. They weren't as
things
crazy
were
as they are.
cheaper-ish. Yeah, I get that. That's fair.
But I mean, back then he still wanted like 7 for it.
Yeah.
So, but it was a good car until I got a hold of it.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't. Then it wasn't.
Do you ever think you'll get another Mustang to try to like finish that endeavor that you started?
I'm not sure.
Because I'm one of those people that like.
Honestly, if anything,
it'll bug the fuck out of me.
I would love to do, because I love the drivetrain that car had.
Mm-hmm.
That was what, like, I fell in love with the TKO 600 transmission.
Okay.
Great.
Why?
Speed.
Let me ask you why.
It just felt great. Like, I'd bang every gear and it felt solid. I mean, I don't know. I can't really compare it too much to like a T56 or anything like that, but like, I really enjoy that transmission a lot, And then just the random noises from the 302 and the Pro Charger on top of that, it just made it rowdy. So I would love to have that drivetrain and maybe throw it into just like a weird BMW or something.
You're just deep down the BMW train now, aren't you?
It started on accident, and
you know too much about the car now, probably is what it is.
To a certain extent. To a certain extent, okay? Like, as soon as you start asking me about, like, the internals on the engine or anything like that,
okay, no.
Like, brother, I can tell you this engine
But the familiarity
works,
is there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I can, I'm not going to be stranded at the track. Like, I can fix it,
Yeah.
But, like, my knowledge, especially with my work, lies in, like, LS's and, that kind of V8, basically.
Yeah. Well, I did want to ask, I guess I noticed, like, you run all seasons on the front. Why?
Money.
Well, no, that's a genuine question, because a lot of people hate front grip. Like, they like to run very minimal front grip. So
and I've heard that a lot, and I've tried. When I actually bought the car initially, it had some Falcons in the front.
Okay.
Sticky.
Yeah.
And my first ever comp this year, because I knew those were the stickier tires that I had, I put those tires in the rear to try to get me through comp. Which it basically got me all the way up till, third, and I spun out at the last, on the last corner. But
yeah,
I learned a lot from that car. As far as the all seasons, I've this far found good success in feeling relatively gripped up. I mean, I feel like I'm not really all that gripped up, at least in the front wise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I run between 28.5 to like 30 psi in the front.
Okay. Wow, that's still pretty high for some all seasons too. Yeah.
So I'm about there, and then
does the car push a lot? Like,
it's got a lot of side
drive over the fronts.
It has a lot of side bite.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I will say, as far as
which that's a BMW thing. BMWs usually have a lot of side bite, right?
I feel like they do.
Okay.
I feel like they do in a way. I've had to learn to kind of work with that because, the E46 was nothing compared to this car.
Yeah.
E46, I was clutch kicking that thing to hell. I mean,
beating the dog shit out that clutch.
God. I mean, tires are cranked up to 90 psi, and I ended up throwing one of my buddies in it because he didn't believe me. He was like, "Dude, what is going on with your car?" I'm like, "It's not me. Like, I'm trying. You just not clutch kicking it." So here's the keys.
My ass, bro. Go for it.
And this man kicked about 10 times each corner he hit, and he's like, "This is crap." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, this sucks. I was like, I thought the M54s were great.
Yeah.
It's like, this sucks a little bit, But
well, is there anything like about, like, let's say someone was going to buy the exact setup that you had for your very first drift event. Is there anything about that setup that you would say, like, go ahead and add this to for your first event?
A turbo.
Really, though?
No, not really. Realistically, just make sure, if it's your first event, just make sure you got to weld the diff, or you can at least properly spin both tires.
Yeah.
other than that, you're gonna be perfectly fine.
Just drive around everything else for the most part.
Just learn your car.
It'll just suck for a little bit.
For sure.
But you won't know any different. You won't know anyways. Well, it doesn't matter.
You know, for the first, I want to say for like the first 6 months or so of me like drifting and going to events, it was really just welded diff and like Concord motor mounts and trans mounts.
Okay.
Yeah, which I dropped my engine on myself, putting those mounts in. Great experience.
Hold on. How?
Well, I'm on the side of a hill on gravel. You know, I got the sketchiest ramps you can think of.
Yeah.
With like a 1.5 ton jack from AutoZone. All right. This is like me starting off not knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, like at all. So I had no business doing some of this stuff, you know. I had this engine ratchet strapped to both wheels in the front to hold it up enough so I can get underneath and balance it enough. You know, so when I was putting the first motor mount in, after removing both of them, I'm underneath the car, and out of nowhere, the engine just falls on me.
Oh my God, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, luckily I had somebody.
Call a friend.
Luckily I had somebody with me at the time. I'm like, please, for the love of God, just jack this thing up.
SOS. SOS.
Help.
My God,
but yeah, like it all started on the side of.
I know some of you have a similar story. Put it in the comments. I want to see it.
Oh, it was hell. But man, did it feel so good when I got back on track. And like, my motor wasn't jumping around. The car felt a little more solid in a way, you know, like it did its thing. Yeah. And then later down the road, it was like 7 months later, I ended up buying an SLR kit. I sold my PC to try to buy that SLR kit.
Hell yeah.
So, you know,
priorities.
Got rid of my PC, was like, all right, let's see what we're going to spend this money on, you know, and saw the angle kit, bought it. It took me about 4 days to install it because, again, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, you know. But installed it, eyeballed
First time getting those factory arms off, too, is a pain in the dick.
Oh, what?
That's all I'm saying.
No one talks about the lollipops.
Oh, plenty of people talk about the lollipops.
I mean, like, holy
dude,
hell.
Andy May, do you know who that is?
That name
the dude that
familiar.
drives the RV with his family around the country.
Yes.
He lives in the RV.
Yes.
Plenty of times.
Oh my God.
I used to edit so many videos of him dealing with those fucking lollipop.
I hate them. That is the one thing I hate, and that's probably the one thing I'm gonna have to service this winter.
Hell yeah.
And I don't look forward to that.
Yeah.
But you know, I got the kit in, and the first time I drove with that kit, I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to really be sideways, you know. And one thing led to another, and eventually the car caught fire, like at the beginning of the first season, or at the end of the first season.
We'll get to that because that's I want to know how that happened. But let me ask you this real quick. So, with how simple of a setup you had going to your first event, obviously that was like 4 years ago. You said something like that. We don't really know. But if you was to have that exact same setup today, what do you think it would cost you?
That's tough because like the market, I feel like it's kind of crazy.
But for BMWs, man, they're still fairly low. Which is a little weird.
For the most part.
At least around here. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I mean, at least where I'm at, it's like you can, don't get me wrong, you can find, you know, a few here and there for around like 4,000, 5,000, but they're clapped.
Yeah.
They're clapped.
Yeah.
So my BMW at the time, that E46, or that E46, the dude wanted like $5,000 for it back then.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I paid 20.
Was it already manual?
Yeah. It was already.
I guess that kind of makes sense.
$5,000.
I get that.
Which I traded him a bike that I paid like $2,300 for. So
gotcha,
shout out to you
sucker.
for making that deal. Thank
Not
you.
Sucker. Thank you. Yeah.
But at the same time, you started a hell of an addiction.
So fuck you, guy.
No, but I think realistically about 5,000 for like a decent manual BMW, and you know, just look it over, make sure the clutch feels solid before you do anything crazy.
The one thing that always scares me about the BMWs is just the reinforcing everything, because the chassis is so brittle.
I didn't learn about that until like towards the end of my first season.
Oh, so you got to find out the hard way? Ooh,
Luckily, I
look at
didn't.
you.
Yeah, like I was.
That's
It was
awesome.
like it was at the end of the season, and I forget who it was, but I had a buddy that had the same car, and he wasn't so lucky. And so when when he showed me that and all that, I went, okay, hey Condor, let me get them plates.
Yep. I'll take those.
So I taught myself how to weld on that.
Nice,
Yeah. So you can imagine how those welds looked.
Hey, I did too on mine.
It stayed solid. It has.
Hey, I'm just saying, my motor mounts were like, I think the third thing I had ever welded in my entire life.
Yeah.
And they're stout, bro. They're fucking stout.
You gotta start somehow, Unfortunately,
hey, that MIG did it.
Plates, but yeah, thanks for MIG for being so easy to use.
Yep. You're very user friendly. We appreciate
you. For sure.
Shouts out my dog.
But yeah, that thing partied in a way until it didn't. Until it did. I feel like the motor on those cars, at least like on the 330s, I don't understand the 330s anymore.
Yeah.
Because like I loved them. But my buddy had a 325, and he'd run laps around this car all day long. Like I could not keep up with him.
That's so weird. Because the doesn't the 3.0 make more power?
Yeah, like supposedly the 3.0 is, this great engine and, all that. But at least...
So much screaming in the comments right now. Are you fucking morons?
Sure. And I'm sorry, but from experience, it just really wasn't a very good engine.
Yeah.
Plus all the
Maybe
sensors.
it's just bad luck. Bad luck on that one.
Most likely.
We'll leave it at that.
It was a learning curve.
Yeah.
That's what that car was.
So why did it catch on fire?
Because
we're talking about it being a bad car.
I don't know how to. Well, at the time, I didn't know that when a car is starting to cut out, real bad, even though you just put a full tank of gas, something
ain't right.
Something ain't right.
You're probably cooking.
Yeah. So I really didn't pay too much attention to it. Just got to the location that I was going to, and I parked it. I went inside this venue. Was in there for maybe 15 minutes. Some guy comes in running. He's, hey, I need a fire extinguisher. There's a car on fire outside. Me in my head, I'm like, oh, I got a fire extinguisher in my car. Let me help you out, So I run out the door with this guy to see my car in the parking lot on fire.
You stop immediately, like, oh, yeah, I can't help with that.
Yeah, and this was like right at the beginning of like the season. This was like January or February, I think, because we had back then they threw an event.
Man. So it wasn't even at the track.
Yeah, like I only got to experience like because I had just put coilovers on this car too. They weren't anything crazy, but I had just put coilovers on, so like it was and I got to experience.
You're saying they weren't a magnificent set of BCs?
They were max speed rods, I think.
Oh, fucking
and
ew.
I paid $100.
No, I'm just kidding. That's all you can afford. Like, I understand. But get you some BCs. Like,
I paid $100 for them. That's what I paid for them.
Yeah.
And, they did the job, at least for that one track day, they did their job.
Yeah.
Which I felt like I got comfortable with the car, but unfortunately, it was like a week and a half later when, it decided to catch fire. And after it caught fire, the plan was to VQ swap it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Be different and sound like a... The joke was we're going to make the German trumpet.
That's a big be different, dog.
We were going to call it the German trumpet. That was going to be like...
I simplified mine, and it still ended up being a big headache. So,
well, that car set for over 2 years. I mean, put the motor in, got it all lined up, made brackets and all that.
Oh, you had mounts and everything made already?
We made them, like, just custom made.
Nice.
Yeah, like, well, say custom made.
Hey,
we made some brackets right off the frame rails and like.
Yeah. I don't care, dude.
It worked.
That shit, yeah. If you can.
What surprised me was how much room you had, because like right from the top, you can stick your hand all the way in the back of that motor, get to the bell housing, everything around the car. Like it was beautiful to work on.
Hell yeah. Which is surprising. Those are very wide motors.
Yeah, yeah. And that thing was like, it was one thing after another.
Yeah.
I never, at the time, never got it running, never did anything with it. and I kind of lost motivation on it.
Did you get it close though? Like you got it to a first start point?
No.
No. Okay.
No. But that's still in the works.
Oh, really?
It's still in the works. Unfortunately, I don't no longer own it, but a really good friend of mine.
It's cool. You kept the project going though.
He really he really fell in love with the car, and he asked me about it one day, and I was like,
Takes
you know
the
what,
right
dude?
type of psycho to commit to that build.
I mean, I feel like I gave him a good deal on it too. I mean, I didn't charge him like full price on the car at all. I was like, just give me a couple $100, here and there until it's paid off. And
well, what were some issues that you were dealing with it? Like, was it just swap related issues?
The custom drive shaft took like 8 months to get.
Why?
I feel like I was just
the fuck?
I felt like I was getting jerked around.
Absolutely,
like, for sure.
The first time I got mine made, I didn't even bring a drive shaft. I took a measurements.
Well,
and I was like, I have a yoke that you can use if you want, but you probably have a better one back there. And he did it within the 2 hours. Like, he did it right in front of me.
I'll be honest, back then I had no business being that
okay, that's
a car build.
Yeah, no, I
know
exactly what you're talking about.
Like now I feel comfortable enough to like tear something apart and put it all back together.
Yeah.
And, know it's gonna work for the most part. But I had no business doing that kind of build. Realistically, what I should have done was repaired what was there.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I tried to be different.
Well, I mean, even it's a BMW. They're all fucking Legos. You just throw a better motor in it.
Right. Well, the motivation kind of just, it dwindled, because I wanted to drive so damn bad. But, like, with work and trying to build a car at the same
what's
time,
your advice on that? Because, look, not everyone, I'm sorry. A lot of people get stuck in that fucking build thing. Like, the whole drift car, I wanna have a build. No, you don't. Look, listen. Do you want drifting or do you want to build?
Exactly.
That's what you need to decide. Do you want drifting or build?
That's kind of where I was.
Don't be me.
That's kind of where I was. It was like I want to drive.
Yeah.
I was like, don't get me wrong. As much as I want to like work on this car and do all of this to it, like I realistically don't have the time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And a really random opportunity came by to pick up this E36 from his name's Ken. He owns the track SMP up in Salem.
Okay, yeah.
So I knew he had that car, and I've seen him, get sideways in it, which I didn't know was turboed at the time or anything like that. But I knew the car worked for the most part from what I've seen him drive it around here and there. And my boss was going up there to his house to work on one of his personal cars. And to be fair, I kind of just like invited myself. I was like, "You need help? You need help? Like, I'll go. Like, I'll help you."
Hey man, I'm just saying. I'll be there.
You need a hand? Like, I'll help you. So we ended up leaving work, went straight over there, and we worked on his car for a little bit. He invited us out to dinner afterwards, and like I kind of like sprinkled the idea of him selling that E36 and kind of like seeing where he was at money wise and all that. And finally, he gave me, a solid number that I could try to work with. And so I made it my goal that in 2 weeks, I was going to make it to their first drift event that they were going to do there for the season.
Nice.
Yeah. So for 2 weeks, I scrambled to get as much money as possible. I mean, it was nonstop, barely any sleep.
Yeah.
Lots of ramen noodles.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Lots of ramen noodles.
That shit's comfort food for all of us now.
I swear to God. I swear. But yeah, after 2 weeks, the day came, and I was like, okay, how am I going to get this car? I was short. I think I was short like $2,000 off of what we wanted,
It's a good amount.
And yeah. Like, where the hell am I going to get $2,000?
Yeah.
And one of my buddies, also my coworker, his name's Nick Crabtree. This mofo, like I didn't ask him anything of him or anything. He, I guess saw how excited I was about trying to get this damn car, and he's like, "Here."
No fucking shot.
He's like,
dude.
"Take this. Just pay me back when you can. Go get your fucking car."
Brother,
if I didn't hop in that truck fast enough to,
I'll give you whatever you want the rest of your life.
I was I don't care. Like,
guy.
sure, like, I don't care. Like, I'll get you paid, which I've already paid him off. It was, I'm
so
very
cool.
grateful for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm extremely grateful for that. But I didn't even hit up Ken. Like, as soon as I got the money, I went straight to his house.
Yeah.
Went straight to his house.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
Well, I pull up in his driveway and start walking up to this door. He's outside sunbathing by the pool. So he sees me coming up. He's like, "Oh,
you here to buy that car, eh?"
yeah." He's like, "You interested in the car?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm interested in the car." And he's like, "You got enough money on you?" I'm like,
Barely.
I got an envelope in my pocket, that can maybe make this happen. So, we went out to his hangar. He brought the car out. He was like, "Well, I got to take a quick rip in it before you take officially take it." I'm like, "No problem." So he hops in the car, bangs it all the way to 4th, and not even at the track. Like, we're like pit area kind of thing. But again, he owns the track, so he can do that.
Yeah.
There wasn't like people around, so don't think it was dangerous. But
he owns the track. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
At the end of the day, who cares?
You would do the same if you owned a track.
100% all day long.
Yeah.
But yeah, he bangs 4th and gets the car sideways. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I hand him the money and he goes, "All right, go to the track, have fun."
Yeah.
I get to the starting line, the wheel bearing falls off.
God, what luck, dude. You sounds like me right now.
Yeah, so, I decided not to take my chances that day. I just loaded the car up on a trailer. I was like, my time will
Smart man.
I was like, I just spent all this money.
Man.
I was like, I just spent all this money. Let me at least try to be smart about it.
Dude, that's what everyone I talked to that came up about my car at Fuel Fest was like, "Why aren't you fixing it?" I'm like, "I'm not that dumb. I'm going to make it worse if I try and fix this thing." Exactly. No, it needs to go on the trailer and go home for now.
Exactly. So you got to know when to call it. You got to know when to call it. So unfortunately, I didn't even get to try it out before I had to call it.
Yeah.
It worked out because I took it straight to the shop. Shout out to my boss for always letting me use a lift anytime I want.
Yeah, we were talking about this off podcast, but he has a really good boss,
my
for
boss
real.
Is really fucking badass.
He let him leave work early just to come do this. That's crazy. I don't understand that.
And
but
he doesn't know this quite yet, but I may be late in the morning. Sorry, buddy. I'm trying. All right, I'm trying.
Hey, you just gotta. What's his company again?
Frank's Automotive.
Frank's Automotive, baby, and it's located where?
Clarksville, Indiana.
Hey,
Clarksville,
so if you need
we
some
got
work done,
in-house dyno tuning and all that. So
there you go. So whether you just need some shit done on the daily or you're building a 2,000 horsepower Chevelle,
whatever you want to do,
they got you.
Yeah.
Look, he'll be fine now.
So got that car up on a lift, fixed the wheel bearing, kind of gave it a quick overview. Since that happened, I was probably in the shop until probably closer to like 2 a.m. that night.
Damn, dog.
And then the next day, went straight back to the track. I was like, we're gonna do it this weekend,
we're making this motherfucker.
Like, regardless. And I got an idea for the car. I had one set of tires at the time that I was like able to use because I completely forgot my other ones at the house. I was just excited to have the fucking car. Yeah, like completely forgot wheels. I forgot I forgot jack, like tools. Like I brought the truck and I brought the truck and the trailer.
I was there.
Yeah, like literally, like I was.
I didn't forget my helmet. That's what matters.
So, I didn't. I did forget toe straps, but luckily they let me go on that one. So that wasn't a big deal. But I got to experience the car a little bit. Knew it can like put something down.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't until like 2 weeks later that like got to go with some guys that really been in this for a lot longer than I have. And some great drivers. Very intimidating.
Yeah, I'm
it was
sure.
Very intimidating. I was scared out of my mind seeing these cars. So I'm like, they got way more horsepower than I got.
Yeah.
So
let's just make it through the day.
Yeah, like that was my mentality. It was like if I can just get some solid runs with these guys,
we can do it. We can do it.
Yeah. Well, somehow I was able to put the car where it needed to be and do my thing, which I really learned what that car was capable of.
That's awesome.
Which was also my first competition ever.
No shit.
Yeah, it was my first ever competition. 2 weeks into owning this car, I did remember to bring my wheels from home this time, but these tires were from the old E36, which had been down for years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Dry rotted as hell.
They were sitting out in the sun and in the weather. So yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were dry rotted. So that's why I swapped those Falcons to the rear for comp only, because I knew that was going to be the grippier tire that I had.
Yeah.
And the newer tire that I had, even though that tire was already a year old. You know?
Dude.
Yeah. So I just tried my best. That's all it was.
Yeah.
You know, and somehow did extremely well, you know, pulled it off. And once I kind of realized what I had, I just tried to perfect a little bit, started tinkering with the suspension a little bit. And I feel like in a way it kind of showed for the second comp, which I did way worse than the first one. But I feel like I went out in a pretty good way. I was went up against Scotty D.
Yeah.
And yep, he DB that tire, and that's a shitty way to go out. Yeah, so that second comp that I had, throughout the day, my manifold progressively got worse. So
how so? Just cracking and shit?
It just started cracking.
Yeah.
A lot of just stress and heat and turbo kit.
Not paying attention to gauges.
Paying attention to gauges. At the same time, the turbo kit was like, I don't know, that manifold was cheap.
Yeah.
It was just.
What
cheap.
Type of manifold was it again?
It was a non-brand.
Just a no-name eBay
like,
shit.
it was like like it was warped. Like by the time I took it off, like it had a solid arc to it. You know,
damn,
it was wild. No, it was wild. It was actually wild. But yeah, like I fought that. So when it came to comp, I think I maybe had like one solid run, or like still had some boost.
Yeah.
By the time I got to Scotty D.
Just
there was no
tank.
turbo.
There was
it was
nothing.
Just like,
we're in A to the moon, baby.
Come on. I was like, this back to the old days, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I just scared my cat. My bad.
But yeah, like it was back to the old. Like just clutch kick it. So I was extremely happy when I just managed to keep the car like sideways, and even with him tapping my door, which that was the first door tap that I had. As soon as he tapped it, I was giggling in my head. The rest of the run, I was just giggling, you know, screaming my guts out. But
well, how much does your turbo setup like cost altogether? Do you think?
I can't.
Because it's all pretty budget friendly, right?
It's extremely budget friendly, especially after the new manifold that I just put in it. I ended up going with a cast iron manifold.
Okay.
You know, it's a hit or miss.
Absolutely.
It does add a little bit of weight to it, but at the end of the day, it also
not enough
gave me,
to fucking matter for what you're doing right
now.
Not
at all. And it gave me that confidence of knowing that portion wasn't going to fail. So I ended up picking that up from a buddy for $50. It was just sitting on the shelf. Brand new, like he hadn't used it. He
wish I could find an RB manifold for that cheap. That'd be great.
You know, like he had it on his shelf. He was supposed to use it for one of his cars. End up going a different route. I think he went like top mount or something like that instead of the bottom mount turbo. And so I took, I was like, $50. I'm on my way.
Yeah. What's your cash app?
Like I was getting ready to spend. You know, I think it was probably like $500 or $600. It was still gonna be a cast iron, but I was getting ready to, spend a little change on it, so that saved it, because I was able to actually use that money for some good tires.
Yeah, like I'll get even if I just get a season out of this.
Yeah,
I'm cool, dude.
For sure. Like that, and so I put that turbo manifold on, and then I think I did like the last comp, which was with Elevated Concepts. They hosted a comp down there in Clarksville, Indiana.
Yeah.
And so I was feeling a little more confident until like Stu Kelly showed up and all that, and I'm like, well, there goes the day, but we're gonna have some fun regardless,
Fuck yeah.
You see these guys doing laps around, and seeing Alan Boss, ripping that track was crazy. And well, just went in with that mentality again. Like, let's just have some fun and let's drive.
So is that how like you kind of, because I want to say it's intimidation, but it's really like it's not. There's not really any intimidation in drifting.
Really, like,
but
don't get me wrong, it was
how do you handle that level of like, oh fuck, when you're at an event with bigger guys or better drivers?
I just want to make sure I don't hit their cars. That's always like my biggest thing. But at the same time, it's like, he's a hell of a driver. He's here for a reason. Let's at least see what happens.
Yeah.
So it clear the mind and just put your foot down. let muscle memory take over. Like, literally let muscle memory take over. Because, when I'm in, like, getting ready to take off or or whatnot, I'm like thinking, okay, I gotta like slip the clutch this much, or I gotta do this to, try to be on this guy's door by the time I initiate, But as soon as like I take off, like my brain is like completely blank.
Yeah.
Just completely blank.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the podcast a little bit of like the first initiation is the breaking point, and then after that it's just like this second nature just kind of takes over.
So like if I can practice the initiation and like feel comfortable, and most of the track, well, not most of the tracks, all the tracks that I've ran this year, it's all been third gear the entire time. So
really, third gear, even at like Salem and shit.
Even at US Air, yeah.
Wow, you have a short second gear then?
I feel like it's long, but at the same time, all it does is just, I feel like it spins. I don't want to say it spins too much, but like it upsets the car. Like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, like if like, don't get me wrong,
just lights off too quick or something.
Yeah, like almost like it lights off too quick. But like if you try to like grip it and just like make a normal pull without like spinning the wheels,
it
revs the hell out.
That's so weird.
I feel like I have a weird combination, but it works beautifully if you understand it.
Dude, my second gear is long as frick. I think it's correct me if I'm wrong, the 3.3. It's the auto open diff out of the Z's and G chassis. I don't remember the ratio. I can't ever remember. But I feel like I'm pretty sure it's 3.3.
I feel like I have a pretty low ratio.
Dude, I don't know what it is. But like,
I'm
sorry, entering at like 60, 70 miles an hour in second gear. That's crazy to me. Is that like, am I wrong?
That's really long, I feel like.
Exactly, dude. Like, I'm fucking.
Maybe I do have shorts if that's what you're doing. Man. But like I know when the turbo wasn't there, or when I had the boost leaks and it just wasn't putting out no power, it was like second gear, it's there.
Yeah.
But then you add the boost on top, it's like second gear is completely useless.
Okay, well, answer this. So like, how was it jumping from, because the car was the E36 was fully NA, right?
Fully NA, 100% stock.
So going from an NA car to a boosted car, how weird was it figuring out the footwork for you?
It was weird.
Learning to like surge the turbo was a little odd for me at first.
I feel like sometimes I still like gotta think about it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel like
I haven't trusted my car enough to do one decent lap.
Like, I know what the car is happy at certain RPMs.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. This thing third gear is just happy all the time. It's just happy. And
fuck you, bastard. Sorry, that was so stupid.
I mean, I tried slapping fourth down in Clarksville, but it.
At Clarksville, Indiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I've never.
Sorry, I'm thinking of Clarksville, Tennessee. I'm like, there's no way.
I haven't drifted that track yet. I have not been to Clarksville, Tennessee at all.
Oh, God. Don't. You're fine. You got way better tracks to drive, trust me.
I would agree. Especially with...
I love Clarksville for what it is. Like, it's a great place to go learn, but, like, you have way better places to go learn.
I would agree. Especially now, like, I feel like at least in my area, there's a lot more, like, events going on and all that.
That's good.
Like, my plan for next season is to try to do Drift Indy. I'd love
Absolutely, you should.
I would love
if you don't do any of the, like, actual Drift Indy comp stuff, At least go to No Star Bash.
Well, I wanted,
No Star Bash was so much fun.
I had a couple buddies that invited me to go this year.
You should have, man.
I felt like my car didn't look apart.
I can understand that. Okay,
You know what I mean? It was like, I'd love
No
to.
Star Bash is
know?
the one event for Drift Indy where, like, as long as it's kind of halfway put together,
sure.
all one color, realistically.
I mean, don't get me wrong, my car's
good,
all,
but...
before the end of the season, it was all one color.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know, I've learned some limits along the way and some proximities and stuff. But, yeah, I just felt like my car wasn't presentable enough to, like, take it to an event like that. Because, like, I've always heard great things about Drift Indy, you know, and I like to watch some of their videos and stuff like that. And
I respect the fuck out of that. Like, that's your
Like,
reason for not going. Instead of bitching like some of you people do about, why does a car have to look good?
Nah,
Grow up. Just grow up. Just grow up.
It was like I said earlier today before we started. It's like I wanted to kind of like hone in the skills and like figure out the car first before I just make it look good and then not know how to drive it properly.
Yeah.
It was the point of having a flashy car.
It sounds so douchey, but like I said to you, liveries are earned.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Spoon said that to me, and I was like, dude, that's like the perfect way of putting it, because that's so true. I never wanted to put a livery on my car. Well, I did. Like, obviously I did.
Oh, I mean,
but
I do.
I forced myself kind of not to. I would throw decals on it, just like in little spots, but
I mean, I
forced
have
myself
the,
not
you
to
know,
until
Link
it was a reason.
ECU on, you know, the front fenders.
Yeah, but
That's
like
really,
it's just a sticker.
That's really as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, I really just wanted to figure out my skills, figure out the car first before just making it look good, and then not know how to drive it properly.
Yeah.
So, and
what's been so for me, whenever I went to Link as well, like just a standalone in general, I didn't realize all the parameters and stuff you could set. So like, how did putting that car specifically boosted and everything on a Link help it?
I feel like Link just does everything for you.
I mean, yeah.
You know, like it
essentially that's what it's for. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't have a lot of knowledge on it. You know, the past few events, I did talk myself enough to like pull it up on the computer. Kind of.
That's
start,
the
like,
extent of mine. I can take a log,
yeah,
and I can send it to you.
Correct.
That's
so,
my extent of
like
standalones.
You know, I've been doing that and just trying to get myself familiar with it and all that. And every once in a while, I'll try to pick my boss's brain because Frank's a madman behind the computer.
Did he tune it?
No.
Who
He hasn't tuned it. A gentleman down in I think it's like Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Okay.
I don't know him. I don't know the guy or anything.
Yeah.
As far as like the ECU and you know having the link, that was set up prior to me, and that was like the one thing that was like we're good. Like
so you didn't even have to buy the link.
No.
Oh, dude,
like,
it was in the car.
Like I lucked out, like, and I didn't know any of this.
That's epic,
like,
bro.
I didn't know any of it.
So epic.
I just knew I was gonna get an E36. That's all it was on my mind, you know. And then next thing you know, I'm hearing a spoolie boy. I'm going, huh?
Wait,
interesting.
Hold on, really?
Really? Is that what we have now? You know. So it's been a learning experience with the car, and I feel it wasn't until like this past weekend that I applied everything that I've learned throughout the season, because I've had to learn how to set the suspension right, so the car, you know, acts the way I want it to act, and figuring out tires, know when to call it on tires, you know, and
are you running better tires now? Obviously, you're still running all seasons up front. I see that.
I'm still actually I switched those around.
Oh, you did?
I did switch those around. I finally got some brand new Johnnies on the front.
What are they?
They're still like a cheap brand.
Oh,
they're
fuck.
like I have trouble saying the name because English is my third
Lewis,
language.
we need to help this man out.
I will butcher the hell out of the name, but it's like Salum or something like that. I was like
Saloons.
Yeah, Saloons.
Saloons are actually fairly decent. Andy, the dude with the RV, he loves Saloons.
I've had great luck with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps that, you know, my boss is has deals through them.
I bet they're good in the rain.
I don't know. I haven't.
Because they're still like an all season, right? Technically.
I feel like in a way. Well, I think the ones I'm running are like more of like their sportier ones.
Yeah,
Which
but it's still like an all-season tread.
Yeah,
type.
kind of in
yeah.
a way, But yeah, I put a set of those in the front. 'Cause I was already comfortable with them in the rear. Like I knew what they did in the rear, so I put a set of them in the front. I've noticed they almost like wear slightly weird in the front.
Yeah,
but they've given me nothing but
yeah. They probably have a lot more rollover
in a way
on the sidewalls and shit, so they'll wear really odd.
Yeah, yeah. Like it almost seems like they're like melting through, and there's like a layer.
Excuse me.
like through like the thread of the tire, like over the grooves. Like it almost looks because of the way like it's like pushing the car around.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but
I am no tire genius, but you might want some stiffer sidewalls.
I would probably agree with that statement.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
I'm gonna try I think it's the Purgia. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that. Bellino Purgia, the 08Cs. I'll just say that the 08Cs. I'm gonna try those up front next. I've got some 225s that I'm gonna order.
Try to like run a proper Falcon tire.
Really? That's one tire I've never tried is Falcon.
Well, considering the grip that it gave me on that first comp, with it being, so old and yet still being able to like, I mean, I was able to go all the way up to top 4.
Yeah.
I think we had like 20-something drivers that first competition. Mm-hmm. Or I think it was like 20, right at 20. But yeah, like it gave me good grip. Mm-hmm. So I
how much are those Falcons?
Not $60 like the tires.
I mean, yeah, but like are they pushing 200 a tire?
I don't think they're up that high. I wouldn't expect them to be.
Which Falcon is it?
Damn.
Is it like their actual good compound?
Like, it was their like good grippy compound. Yeah. So it was probably up there.
I mean, just me personally, like Falcon obviously is an amazing company, great tire, but in all reality, no average grassroots guy is going to go buy a Falcon tire to use for drifting just because, like you said, it's so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
When you could get relatively, for your car setup, power level, blah, 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 the same, virtually the same. It's not going to be exactly the same. Some people are going to get pissed at me for this. But, like, the same level of grip with that car level, I guess.
Look what I'm doing with the.
Say that, dude. I feel so dumb right now.
How do you say their tires? Saloons.
Saloons. I assume that's how you say it. That's the way he said it to me. So
something like that, But I mean, I see these guys with a lot more horsepower. Do run, good tires and all that, and
I mean, even if you just ran a Kenda up front or something.
I'm sure. I mean, I've been offered some Kendas.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm gonna like get addicted to them. Then I'm gonna spend a lot more money. And
but this is what we need to break it down. Okay. How much did you say your tires were?
Roughly about 60 a piece.
$60. How many laps do they last you?
Shit, actually a lot.
How many laps?
Maybe not a lot. Like 12.
How much power do you make?
Maybe 300, if that.
Okay, so, dude, if you're getting 12 laps out of some Saloons, even if you just threw, let's say, some 651s on, which, in my opinion, wouldn't last nearly as long as, say, an Ebisu or a Kenda or even the Zek Novas and stuff. Zek Novas last pretty decent amount. But, like, you're going to get almost double the tire life. So if you're spending $60 a tire, if you just spend like an extra 40, which is usually 40 to 50 is what it'll about be, like especially for 651s or something.
Right.
You'll get double the tire life, if not more, and it'll be a more consistent tire, so you won't have to deal with any type of like chunking or like any weird just ripping off or rolling over, like you said, especially up front.
Yeah.
You'll have stiffer sidewalls. Like everyone goes through that. Exactly what you're talking about, where but they're so cheap. But it's because you haven't experienced what a good tire is like and how long it will actually last you if you heat cycle it properly.
Which I do kind of like.
Exactly. So if you already have a habit of that too, I swear to God, go ahead and buy the good tires. It'll be 100% worth it.
I will say the car keeps me in check when it comes to like heat.
That's good. That's very good.
Check. And I also feel like I have the link to think for that too, because every once in a while I do like to try to get a little out of hand, but like the car literally will let me know like we're not doing this.
Yeah,
we're not doing this.
It'll start shutting you down a little bit.
Yeah, it'll start cutting
parameters or everything.
Yeah, like I love that car. Honestly, I truly fell in love with that platform this year.
Good.
Yeah, truly fell in love with that.
What size tires are you running? Actually, let me ask you that.
For comp, 245s is going to be the biggest I run.
In the rear?
In the rear.
Okay.
Up front, I think I'm like 225.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. 225. They're 17s.
Yeah, dude. You need to go with better compounds. You need to get some good compound tires.
I think for next season, with
no more all seasons.
Everything I'm trying to plan now, that might be something more feasible. So gotta play around with some numbers.
Try Nova, man. There's a first time discount code. Like the first time you ever try Novas, I think I want to say it's 15% off or something like that.
Okay.
But like for your size, I think it's 124.
That's not terrible.
A tire or something like that. Yeah. So with the 15% off, you get tax off and a little shipping off. So like, order one pair, just one pair.
I will do that,
and you will fucking love it. I'll text Lewis for you.
Try something different, especially if I.
And if you want to try really good tires, like you said, 245 is the biggest, right, in the rear?
It is currently the biggest I'm running in the rear.
Valino's 235. Grab you some of those, or the 225s, the 08Cs that I'm actually getting. They have plenty of those still.
Okay.
But I'll be running those up front. They're a really good tire, really fairly grippy-ish. Some other people would have better experience than I do with them, but everything that I've heard from them, great. And it's like 33, somewhere in the 30% off right now.
I think with everything that's, I feel like starting to unfold this past week, it's about that time that I maybe do try a stickier compound.
Yeah,
I think that might be the way to go.
You're gonna have to get there some way.
That's true. That's true.
Well, like you just mentioned, with some stuff that's happening this year, you're going to be saving a little bit of money. So
I am going to be saving.
We don't have to go into the details on that. That's nobody's business. But tell me about it. What's been happening? Because I've noticed your name's been floating around myself. Obviously, I hit you up and was like, hey, come out. Let's get you on.
I'm still kind of in shock because, a lot of, people are reaching out and, saying they're hearing my name.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, and
I've done media at Riverside a shitload of times and seen his driving, and that's how I knew of him. But he's a really good driver.
I feel blessed in a way.
Good.
I feel blessed in a way because I feel like I've accomplished a lot, and I feel like this is truly like my first season of like actually drifting, like serious.
What do you mean by that? Because you mentioned that to me beforehand too.
My first year, I felt like first season, I guess you could say that, I tried to drift with so many issues, that I ran into, and, felt like I was working on the car more than I was actually, like, driving.
Yep. That was me all year.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that went, But this year was, like, to be fair, my knowledge, about cars and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like taking a break from it for those 2 years,
was needed.
Yeah, like I built myself up in those 2 years and was finally at a place where like, okay, if I get a car now, like I can actually understand how it works. Mm-hmm. I can actually fix it properly. I don't have to do a hack job and then worry about if it's going to, fail on track or not. So, this year being able to like test the car, then do the comps, see it just work.
Good feeling.
Oh my God, it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a great feeling, especially when you're going against some of these guys that are like twice your horsepower.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I have no business going with these guys, but I somehow put the car where it needs to be, you know. So, and then it took somebody who hit me first. I think it was Scotty D. Yeah, it was when Scotty D gave me that first door tap. That day, I felt like it helped me get closer to people.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because you finally felt like the actual feeling of it?
Yeah, correct. Because, like, up until then, you know, I had this, like, thought in my head, like, oh, someone's going to tap me. I'm going to, like, spin out or, like, do something weird. Like, dope. Like, figuring
just
out.
Just encourage you a little bit, right?
Come on, bud. You know, like, my turbo ain't working, but I'm trying.
I'm giving her all she's got.
So it was a great learning curve.
That's good.
You know, and shout out to him because Scotty D hooked me up with the baddest steering wheel. The baddest steering wheel. I love that thing, which I just got to run it finally at US Air and stuff. It's an NRG Ultra Slice. It's a royal blue with the like WWW pizza on it, and I only seen Hertz, you know, steering wheel like his, but his was red, you know, and you know, Scotty D said I could, you know, had me basically pick out a steering wheel from the website. Cool. Yeah, it was super cool of him to do that.
Anyways, I guess so. With all of this, why have you decided to travel down the comp route with drifting, just in general?
Just to prove myself in a way. Like I've always felt like I can, you know, do it, but never actually took the initiative to do it. And I think realistically it happened this year. You know, or like at the beginning of the year, like I feel like I kind of like try to change my mentality. Just like, we're just gonna make stuff happen, and I'm just gonna do what makes me happy, you know, and just kind of, you know, follow the dopamine, so to speak.
Yeah,
you know,
I get that.
Yeah, so you know, it kind of started with that. You know?
Did you ever do like competitive sports as a kid?
I did. I played football back in high school. And, you know, I did well with that. I played quarterback and defensive end, played both ends of the field.
Yeah.
I did well with that, you know, so I've always been, you know, competitive, you know. But I also...
was curious, because I was too, but it just died out.
To a certain extent, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go and, like, play competitive sports no more.
I mean, true. I couldn't tell you how many times people have asked me to like go play in a softball league, and I'm like, what the hell? No,
no, not
like that sounds terrible.
Yeah,
no,
you know, like running now, I'm okay.
Yeah,
let me sit in this drift car and get sideways though.
hey, you know? Hey, I'll lay under this car and sweat and heavy breathe for hours trying to get one bolt loose, but a run, nah.
Yeah. Not doing it no more.
7-minute mile, forget about it. Not happening. Damn it, I did it again. What the fuck were we just talking about?
Being competitive.
Oh, yes, okay. So, on the competitive shit, for me, like I just said, I lost like virtually all of my competitive edge when it comes to sports. Now, business, that's a different thing, whatever. But like, what with the ratio of success rate within competitive drifting, why do people still feel the need or want to pursue that route so heavily? I'm not saying it's wrong to pursue that route, like by all means do that, but like why so heavily? Like people invest everything into it, like their whole life.
Oh yeah, I know about that. Yeah, I think it just, for me at least, it was like the community, you know, and then also knowing that in these competitions, like there's gonna be really good drivers.
True.
And at least, again, for me personally, to have the opportunity to, you know, push the car to the absolute limit, you know, next to, you know, again, a badass driver and feel 100% confident in it. that's what I get out of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Could you not do that already? That's like, see that, because a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like you could go to Grid Life and do that.
You could.
All you have to do is just
honestly,
like prove that you can drive good enough.
You know, you can do. Well, I just did US Air. You know, that wasn't a comp or anything, but that was an amazing event with some great drivers. You know, I mean, they stacked us up, I think 9 or 10 deep.
Hell yeah.
On the course, and I mean, everybody just it worked. You know, and so it does happen outside of that competitive, you know, aspect, but you know, at the end of the day, it's like you get to drive with some badass people, maybe even get something out of it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, I feel like the bonus, you know? It's like always a little bonus.
I'm just always curious, like what goes through, because for me, I'm like, I'd rather just chase the fun route, and then like, because obviously you're going to get...
Well, see, I have a blast.
You get jobs based off of different things, and like, it's all... As similar as it seems, it's all different. But like,
plus comps
always
are
curious.
A lot more expensive too.
Oh yeah,
so much more. Yeah.
Expensive. Well,
to a certain extent.
No, I'll just go ahead and say yeah to that.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're paying maybe a couple $100 for a fun day. Or you know, certain tracks. I know at SMP, it's like $70 a day. You know, when they like host events. And then competition, you know, anywhere between $300 to $400 have roughly been what the entry fee have been. I think.
Oh, you're talking just entry fee?
Well, you know.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely,
just entry
definitely.
Fee in general, you know, like it's a lot more expensive, but I don't know. Like I love that environment.
Yeah.
You know, I always feel like a little kid. I swear, I always feel like a little kid.
Dude,
you know, I get behind the wheel. Out, it's just like, let's do it.
I'd be so stressed. Oh my god.
Well. I like to show up like early in the morning to like an event, and I, you know, just give a quick overview of the car, wipe it down, and then just.
You wipe your car down?
I wipe my car down every
time.
I was this weekend at US Air, and somebody was like, "Why are you wiping your car down?" I'm like, "I'm polishing my turd. Leave them alone."
You see all these camera guys? That's why.
You gotta make it look
good.
Dude,
I'm like, so serious.
What's the point of going out there? Your car's looking all dusty.
It's not even that, man.
It's gonna get dusty.
Those same people that aren't wiping their cars down are the same motherfuckers that are in the Facebook event page after the fact in the discussion tab that nobody talks about and says, "Did anybody get pictures of my car?" No, they didn't. Want to know why? You didn't care enough.
Yes, I mean, I always took that, you know, mentality into it, you know, just make it look nice, and then I sit back.
That sounded very like mean too. I'm sorry, that was a little overboard.
No, they need to hear it.
Fine, fuck it.
Wipe your car down. It's okay. Like make it look good. You know, like.
Dude, there's I guarantee you go to one drift event, you can find one vendor that is giving away wax, spray wax. There's going to be a vendor there giving away spray wax.
I try to have at least one bottle in the truck with me and a couple rags.
Yeah. Shout out Drift Mansion. I got my spray wax from y'all.
Oh, hell yeah.
I didn't pay for that shit.
Shit.
Hell no.
Maybe one day. But yeah, you know.
Well, I guess I technically did pay for that. I paid for the Drift Mansion driving ticket. It's all wrapped. Whatever. Anyways, sorry. I'm going on rants again. Okay, well, dude, like, what's your goal with it? Like, are you trying to go to FD? Like, what is your...
I feel like that's always the ultimate dream. Realistically, I just want to be able to drive and make sure the bills are paid. You know, and anything else that happens in between.
You want the driving to pay the bills?
That would be the ultimate dream. Yes.
Don't go the comp route.
You know.
And we'll see you next week, fuck. No.
I've heard a lot about that, and you know, I can definitely see it. You know how that's like a completely different level. You know?
No, I just always like to at least try and explain the other side to people about it, because like people get so wrapped up in like just wanting to drive with the best, or having a wild car, or being just competitive in general. And I'm like, well, hold on, slow down. Yeah. Why? What is the fuck is your goal? Like, do you even have an image, like an end goal pictured in your head to shoot for? Or are you just shooting blanks? I don't know. Because to me, there's so much more opportunity with social media now.
I think a thought of me
stuff
maybe
is
going
wild to me.
into FD, you know, not a thought that I'm going to have anytime soon.
Yeah.
You know, like my time will come. If anything is going to happen, my time will come. You know.
Yeah.
Right now,
And I may be totally wrong too. I'm not saying I'm right.
Just want to enjoy it. You know, just enjoy the sport for what it is.
That's what it's for.
And you know, this community. You know, what attracted me a lot to this community, because I do go to a lot of drag races and stuff like that, is how much everybody helps each other.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you need this part? Oh, here. You know, I got this.
Got it right here for you, big dog. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I couldn't tell you how many fucking times someone saved my ass.
One of the last event that I had.
Shout out Drake for letting me use your welder at No Star.
This last event that I had at, you know, in Clarksville, Indiana, my adapters broke. You know, so I couldn't even load my car on the trailer. Like, I couldn't move it. Like, the asphalt was just like so rough. You couldn't get a jack to really roll it or anything.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and my buddy, which even though you know, it was my total fuck up, you know, he bumped me and whatnot. He's like, dude, I got some adapters in the car. Hold on. Went to the truck's like, here.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what Scott did from Grip Royal with me. He had the whole ISR rear arm set in his trailer for a Z. He's like, here you go. Just take it. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and, you know, all these people, like, you know, some don't know each other or anything like that, and just being so willing to help and, you know, do whatever is necessary. 'Cause I feel like at the end of the day, we all got the same goal in mind.
Yeah.
You know, to a certain extent at least. And, yeah, you know, that community is really, like, what, you know, kind of keeps me wanting to keep going and, you know, do better, basically.
Good. Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Well, at least going into next year, I know we talked a little bit about Elevated Concept, but like I know you're gonna be helping them out a little bit more in depth this year. Give me a little idea of what that entails.
Well, as of Sunday, as I was packing up to leave US Air, I was offered a position to be the 4th driver of Elevated Concepts.
So cool.
So shout out to Elevated Concepts for you know, giving me an opportunity like this, or offering me the opportunity like this in the first place.
Explain how it happened, because like that's important, because everyone thinks that you gotta like just ask, or like shit just
I didn't ask
falls
nobody
in your lap for no reason.
I didn't ask nobody. I feel like it kind of happened the same way this interview happened in a way. I'd just go out there, put on my best face, you know, and have fun. And if it's your time, it's your time. Or, you know, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So, you know, I never really like gone out there and like asked, you know, for
handouts.
Yeah, to a certain extent, you know. I've tried to work out like some transactions where like, you know, if you do this, maybe I can try to do this for you, or you know, but nothing ever really, you know, fell through or anything like that. And you know, so I was like who cares? You know, at the end of the day, who cares? Let's just go have fun, you know.
It's one of the best mindsets to have.
Once I did that, it was like, yeah, you know, people started reaching out, and you know, when US Air came about, I was like, oh, this is crazy. I've never driven anything this advanced, you know. I'm used to these tracks locally, which is nothing too crazy, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, SMP now has like elevation changes and stuff. They just added onto the track and all.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good.
So, you know, they now have some elevation tracks, or some, you know, elevation at the track, but I didn't have that kind of experience.
Yeah.
So I was very intimidated to head out there, but you know, EK put out a hell of an event. You know, it went extremely smooth. I mean, we all had plenty of laps around this place. I think most of the guys almost ran out of tire like the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the day wasn't even over. Most of the guys were already like,
oh yeah. Well, I guess okay. Before you go too deep into that, tell me about Elevated Concepts though. Like, what what exactly is Elevated Concepts? What do they do? Why is it beneficial to the audience or to anyone?
Elevated Concepts, they've been around now, I believe, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on that, but I believe so. And now, you know, they're out and about in a lot more areas now. You know, I attended one of their events with the E36. That was the last event I attended before that car caught fire. It was actually an EK event.
Hell yeah.
So, like, I kind of got to experience, you know, that event there, and that event ran extremely smooth. Ryan, great dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seems he's, you know, he's got a good love for the sport, you know. And, you know, this year he's been seeing him at FD and stuff like that. You know, he's usually set up out there. So
it's mainly just events that they host.
They're
hosting
like that, events, really. Yeah, and you know, buy some merch. Shameless plug. But yeah, and they're also, from what I've gathered, you know, this year, cause this year was like the main year that I've really like got to, in a way, spend time with them and kind of get to know them a little bit. Yeah. You know, so you know, everybody's very close to each other. You know, and Ryan is, you know, what the 3 drivers he currently has, Andrew, TJ, and Jackson,
mm-hmm.
you know, they're hell of drivers. Yeah. You know, and seeing them rip around the track just, like, motivates me to, like, try and, like, go out there, you know, like, and do the same thing. That bond they seem to have between each other and how they, like, I enjoy watching these guys drive. Yeah. You know, I really do enjoy watching these guys drive. So it was mind-blowing on Sunday.
What makes their events different? Why do they stand out to you?
I feel like, in a way, they're, like, laid back. Mm-hmm. I don't mean, like, as far as, like, rules or anything like that, but, like, you're not rushing to everything or anything. Like, it's smooth, you know?
Is it nice cars there? I assume it's nice cars, being them.
Especially with this last event. I mean, we had a lot of, you know, nice cars. The last comp that you know, that he hosted, that EK hosted, I mean, you had Stu Kelly, Alan Boss was out there too. Yeah, you know, you have all these, you know, nice cars, you know, and he has a good checklist, you know, to make sure you're at least not looking like crap out there.
Good shit. You know, that's what we like to hear.
He's got a good head on his shoulder. I think you know, he can definitely go far with this. And good. I'm just happy that now I get to tag along, and you know, I got a team that, you know, I can drive with and be more consistent with. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day,
well, I'm stoked to see it, and I'm stoked to see how it helps you progress this year, because you've already progressed so quick. So
I feel like I did. Like
and he's not a simmer. I just want to say that. He's not a simmer. That's all I'm going to say.
To a certain extent.
God damn it. I retract my statement.
Well, here, I'm going to make a lot of people pissed off with this one, because I don't play a set of course or anything like, you know, everybody does. Yeah. And you know, their simulator. I play Car X. Mm-hmm. Car X Drift.
Is it on with a controller, though?
No, I do have a wheel. Like, I actually have a wheel and pedals and all that. And everybody flames it. Everybody flames Car X. I have a great time with it. I've learned my footwork. I don't know, man. I'm here to party. I have that game to thank for my footwork.
Hell yeah.
Like left foot braking, it's just like little stuff like that. It was on that game. You know?
Well, yeah, I definitely take back my statement. He is a simmer still.
You know, to a certain extent, you know, the sim did help me a lot. Yeah. You know.
Plus, I couldn't even count on one hand how many times I've sat in a sim.
Well, you got to think, I was out of the game for 2 years, like 2+ years.
I was out for 3.
I was desperate. I'm like, I'm driving, whether it's virtually.
No, I was just too broke the whole time. I was like, this damn car keeps taking my money.
Oh, I had this like $300 computer that was barely able to run Car X, but it ran it. That's all that mattered. It ran it.
Oh, you know? Yeah, so, I've got a tower sitting in that closet that I need to rebuild so that I can finally buy a sim. Well, that's another story for another day, anyways.
We're gonna convert them.
Right? Yeah. All right. Well, I guess if they're on the topic of like elevated concepts, working with companies, if there ever was a company that one day you had the opportunity to work with, which company is it and why?
It's gonna sound basic. Oh, to a certain extent. To a certain extent. But like I would love to work with Ninjuku, mainly because I saw like when like Adam LZ like started off and you know all that.
Yeah.
Like that brand always stood out to me.
Oh yeah.
So
it's become a massive like staple brand, which and I'm not even saying this just because they represent the podcast. Like that's exactly what you said. And the Ninjuku S15 like was one of the main things that like made me understand really who Ninjuku was. Obviously, I had already bought parts from them before, but like you're searching for a specific part, you don't necessarily like care who the fuck you're buying it from. But yeah, Ninjuku's just been massive, not only through the drift community, but
yeah, so,
all motorsports communities. It's insane.
From watching, that aspect, you know, on YouTube and
just how many builds they've had their hands on.
I swear.
I guess that's not their hands on, but like,
and I've heard nothing but good things about them the entire time, So
shipping, dude. Oh, dude, I'll rant and rave about their shipping all day. It's so fast for me. I know that's like depending on where you are, of course, but like, I don't know. I'm like, what, 6 states over or something? 4 or 5 states over. Shit still gets here in a few days, man. I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. Usually everything takes a week.
Right. So it's like, I've heard nothing but good things about them. So, I mean, if one day I'd have that opportunity to add checklist, awesome. I'm like, I've accomplished what I needed to accomplish. Yeah. Like, again, whatever happens, happens. But
hey, well, I mean, you said it on the right. No,
we're gonna put it out there for the world.
Yeah,
whatever happens, happens.
No, hopefully one day that happens. I really hope.
Yeah, that'd be extremely exciting.
It gets to that point. Yeah. That's awesome. And no, I didn't pay him to say that. I didn't like that wasn't planned. Before anyone says anything about, oh, that was great advertisement. No, it wasn't. That was just organic conversation. I swear to God.
It was going to be basic. That's why I said it was probably going to be a basic answer. But,
no, that's not, though.
At the end of the day, it's like, I've heard good things about the company. I've seen what the company does for drivers and, how, like you said, how many bills they've had their hands on,
Yeah.
So,
they're a veteran to the game, baby.
Yeah, so to be able to rep a company like that, like, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. Like, what do I sign? You don't even got to pay me. Just give me some parts here and there.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. All right, well, I guess, what's your end goal? What's your end goal with all this? I know I've kind of asked you that, but.
I want to be able to have stories to tell when I'm older. When I sit down, with some grandkids, I want to be able to have some dope stories to tell.
I like that answer. That's a really good answer.
So this far, thanks to this year, I got some good stories I can tell.
We're chilling, dog. So
yeah. we started off strong, and I'm just hoping that I can keep the momentum going the way it's going.
Good. Yeah. Good. Love it, man. Well, speaking of Ninjuku, if you had the opportunity to build the best seat time car possible, it doesn't matter necessarily what budget is, but you're building a seat time car. What car is it going to be, and what parts are you choosing from Ninjuku?
I would stick probably with the E36.
Okay.
Just affordable.
Mm-hmm.
KBD kit.
Damn right.
KBD kit has to go on there.
I smacked the fuck out of the wall, and my KBD kit's fine. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Dude, no, wait, hold on, pause. I have to tell this. I'm sorry for cutting him off, but I gotta tell this one. In the group chat for Fuel Fest afterwards, so they were talking, Aaron and Irving were talking back and forth about, I think Aaron said, your only job was to show up, drive, sell ride-alongs, or something like that,
right.
And market KBD. And I was just like, I replied to that one message, and I was like, I think I handled the marketing for KBD for the weekend. It's fine. And everyone started dying laughing, dude.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, they're indestructible. I mean, I've seen them in person smack a wall, and it's like, I'll just leave it on the side. Yeah. It'll be all right. and you really can't get that from anywhere else. But yeah, I'd do a KBD bumper, entry level SLR. You don't need nothing too fancy.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need all the crazy angle right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So something basic. eBay or handbrake, maybe, because realistically, you should learn without it first.
Yeah, that's one thing I wish I would have.
I did, and I feel like that helped a lot. Like, I bought a handbrake for the E36.
Yeah.
And it's set on my kitchen counter for 5 months before I felt comfortable enough to like install it and then go out and use it. Hell yeah. I didn't want to be that guy, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just be out there like, oh, he's doing this the entire time,
Yeah.
You know, so
just relying on it.
Yeah.
I get that.
So,
well, good. Bucket seat, did you say that?
Bucket seats for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would say that's like one of my most important ones.
From experience in my E46 with leather, you need a bucket seat.
Would you end up in the passenger seat or something? What the fuck?
I'm doing this the entire time.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know, my knee is against the door.
You said that like something drastic happened. Oh yeah, we all know the whole like pin your knee to the door for extra stability. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Tunnel and
yeah.
Let's hope for the best. Yeah, no, and I broke my armrest just trying to hang on to it. You know. Yeah, no, it was rowdy. We'll see. That's awesome. I try to clean my car.
Yeah.
You know, so like it was leather, so it only made sense to like put leather treatment on it. Made it slick as fuck.
Yeah, don't do that.
Terrible decision.
Bad idea.
Terrible decision. Put some, covers if anything, but get yourself a bucket seat. You can some
Alcantara fabric
pretty
and just
cheap.
Put fabric over it. Hell yeah. All right, well then let's get your best piece of advice for just anyone getting into drifting.
Have fun. Don't take it so serious.
Yep.
Have fun. That's it. Like, you may have a small little bump here and there, you know. Mm-hmm. Take it with a smile. It's gonna happen, but just have fun doing it. You know, that's definitely the biggest thing.
Absolutely. And then this is a little deeper. I'm sorry, but if you had the opportunity to speak to the entire world, what would your one message be?
Listen more. Talk less.
I like that. Yeah. 2 ears, one mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak.
Exactly. You'll be a lot happier that way.
So good. Yep. All right. Is that all you had on that?
Yeah. No, we're good.
All right. Well, yeah. If you want, now's the floor. Your floor. Shout yourself out. Well, any companies you want to shout out?
Shout out to myself for the driving this season. I can't even remember. Slideways _ E36. I've switched like twice, but kept this one actually. But
it's in the description.
Instagram. Shout out Elevated Concepts. Huge shout out to my boss Frank for being extremely supportive, allowing me to use the lift whenever I just need to work on the car and all that, and letting me come to a podcast in the middle of a work week. And
what a guy.
Yeah. My buddy Nick, and and my mom. Even though my mom hates that I drift. Shout out to her, because even though she hates it, she does see the smile that it leaves on my face, and she tries to at least be supportive. So I appreciate that from her.
That's awesome. Hell yeah, dude. Well, I want to say I appreciate you coming on. This has been a great episode.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, and I hope a lot of you guys were able to learn something. I know we have the big guys on, but I always try and keep a good level of grassroots guys, because that's who's watching. That's who you can learn from best, because that's the most relatable step next for a lot of you guys. So
for sure.
Really hope you enjoyed it. Really hope you got something out of it. And every single week, if you did, do me a favor, hit the like button. That is one of the best ways to let me know if I'm doing a good job. But other than that, hit the subscribe button as well, along with the bell notification, so you're always updated. And then links to everything you always need are always in the description. And don't forget, Chase Bay's Customer Appreciation Event, November 30th, December 31st. That's a tongue twister. That's really hard to say. I fuck it up every time. So grab your tickets if you haven't already. And yeah, that's all we got. So I will see you each and every week for a brand new episode. Thanks.
Staying way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach you. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater. Staying way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach you. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater. We in the bag of the band, shit like a sauna, she working a sweat. Told her come over, bring her and her friend. Put her to work, gotta earn her the rent. Fucking so good, you should pay me for. Fucking so good, you should pay me for sex. Ain't one for relations, on to the next. Can't let a hoe go and fuck up a check. Two-tone, I like my women in two tones. Never get caught, I got 2 phones. Maybach Mercedes, a roof gone. New whip push to start it. Whole whip aftermarket. Chain in my neck look flawless. Never too much money, I got it. Staying way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach you. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater. Staying way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin